Miami Dolphins have closed practice today. We're going to get into some of the notes coming out from that for some of the beat writers, as well as some news coming out about Darren Waller and his availability, as well as a couple things in the NFL we're going to touch on, mainly Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button on the way in.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30.
Welcome to the Fins Tailgate. It's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. We live that aqua and orange from the field to the mic. Breaking down the plays, man, we talk it every night. From Tua to the defense, you know we keep it tight. NFL moves, you know we got the insight. We open up the floor, yeah, it's your time to shine. Fans drop the heat with opinions realigned. You got concerns, bring them, we're gonna chime. The Fins Tailgate's where we keep it prime. Welcome to the Fins Tailgate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. The NFL's changing, but we stay on the grind. Latest breaking stories, we don't waste no time. From the trades to the rumors, we make them all align. At the Fins Tailgate, we always on the climb. We're repping the Dolphins, but it's NFL-wide. From South Beach to the league, we keep it worldwide. Got the fans engaged with the energy supplied. Come kick it at the tailgate, we're riding high tide. Welcome to the Fins Tailgate, it's where we elevate. Miami Dolphins talk, yeah, we never hesitate. Breaking news, hot takes, we keep it up to date. And when the fans speak up, the panel resonates. So if you love the game, you know we got the gate. Tune in, speak out, don't wait, it's your fate. This is the Fins Tailgate, now watch us dominate. Miami Dolphins, NFL, yeah, we integrate.
What is happening, Dolphins fans, and welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate with your host, El Capitan. Tonight, on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, we got a bunch of stuff, man. I mean, I'm trying to get caught up on all the shows I ain't getting to. I mean, I used to be Johnny on the spot every day, couple hour shows, all that stuff. Life be such a way. So you're pretty much getting half-time El Capitan. Half El Capitan. Half-time Capitan. Half Capitan. Something like that. All right. But I'm trying to get caught up on things, keep you guys informed. We had practice today, had practice Saturday, didn't touch base on that. We're gonna do a little breezing around. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Shout out to everybody in chat getting in here early, impromptu show, trying to get it in a little earlier today than I usually do. I've been usually going around 8:39 at nights, but, trying to mix it up, baby. You heard? Trying to mix it up. Hit the like button on the way in. Shout out to everybody getting in here with the, good stuff. Make sure if you guys are watching on X, Twitch, Twitter, CB Radio, Cup on a String, Smoke Signals, friggin' I don't know, whatever. Make sure to come over to YouTube, subscribe over here, hit the like button, just like Chef Jew says. Become a member, all that good stuff. Shout out to Chef Jew. Shout out to Shake Money, homie, friend, everything. What's up? And then there goes Sean, Bills Mafia, Red, White, and Bills. Dolphineer in here. What's going on? Hit the like button. Iceman, what's up, Iceman? I've been seeing the content, dog. I like it. I dig it. Keep it up, Iceman. I'm feeling the work. I like it, buddy. I love it. So, what's up, Danny? Oh, Dan. I go, Danny. What's up, Danny Johnson? Salute, my dog. TPP fan club, the Positive Porpoise, Danny Johnson watching on X. What's going on, buddy? Make sure to come over here to YouTube. What's going on? Oh, check my DMs on Twitter. Hold on a second. What you got? Iceman? Oh, I've already got that. I already got that loaded up, Iceman. I already got that loaded up. Wesley, what's good, dog? Salute, Wesley. Vamos Gatos, thank you. Hit the like button. And of course, beloved Michael K. Yeah, yeah, I got you guys, man. Salute, my brother. Yeah, no, I already had that. That's loaded. I'm gonna pull that out at the end of the show. Make sure we get that in. We got a ton to get into here on this program. On the program, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. So make sure. All right. So, anywho, let's start this off right. Okay. Let's start it off right. Let's start it off with the first thing, something we haven't talked about yet. Shout out to Zack Sieler. Zack Sieler getting the bag. A unanimous across the board decision and agreement from fans to anyone. And anybody who knows the Dolphins, whether they're a fan or not, I mean, I get it. Zack Sieler isn't the big household name. But if you're a Buffalo fan, if you're a Jets fan, if you're a Patriots fan, if you're one of the teams that see the Dolphins on the regular in the AFC, you probably know who Zack Sieler is when you're going against Dolphins. If you're a well-informed fan, if you're scouting the Miami Dolphins defense against your team, the guy has been incredible. And it's not been something that has, I mean, it's a feel-good story. It's everything earned the hard way. I mean, a D2 athlete walk-on going to a 7th round drafted from the Ravens, waived twice, ends up getting snagged by the Dolphins, and then pays off after some time, signed a 3-year deal worth $38.65 million back in 2023. Then, which up to that point, everyone was like, wow, it's a great deal. He's a very good player, all that stuff. He proceeded after 2023 to put up 10 plus sack numbers, the first time in a single season by a defensive tackle in franchise history to get 10 plus sacks. And that's crazy to think, considering Ndamukong Suh and stuff was here in a single season. He and his representation inks a 3-year deal this year with the Miami Dolphins worth $67.7 million. To my understanding, it's, I forget the guaranteed amounts, but this is a 3-year extension. So over the next 2 years, he'll get like 34 million of it guaranteed no matter what, and 10 on the other side, and then the rest are incentives. I mean, here's a guy who came up from the muck, baby. That's what I like. Came up from the muck. I love it. Shout out to TPP, Danny. What's up, brother? Danny, I'm going to be in contact. I got some stuff working out. We'll be bringing guests on the show as the season progresses, probably in the next couple of weeks or so. I'll be working it out. So keep on a lookout, Danny. I'll hit you up on X in the DMs. So let me make sure I have that note. So real quick. So yeah, Zack Sieler, again, nobody has earned it more than this guy who, at this rate should stick with the Dolphins for the entirety of his career, and depending on the successes of the team and how time grows, I can't think of a better free agent acquisition in this manner since Cameron Wake when we got him from the Canadian Football League. But again, I mean, Cameron Wake was kind of blowing it up in the Canadian Football League, but it was still a slow roll. I mean, it's not like there's not different things. So Zack Sieler, this generation's Cameron Wake, and one of my favorites, as now Zack Sieler is one of my favorites. So shout out to Zack and his family who have, played it right, done things the right way, and hard work does pay off, which I'm happy about. So shout out to Zack Sieler and everybody. So hit the like button, everybody. Let's get into this next topic. Well, let's get right into it. Let's get into some of these practice notes. Let's see. But before we do, let's get the the injury updates. God, injury updates, bro. Goodness gracious. This team is it's seemingly injured. It's like every day. I mean, Saturday's practice, terrible situations. I mean, Jalen Phillips gets leg whipped, doesn't practice the rest of the day. Luckily, he made it back to practice today and seems to be all right, thank God. But Alec Ingold goes down with a concussion in that game. People on site said Tyreek Hill screaming at trainers. It was an ugly one. Right now, Alec Ingold is in concussion protocol, which, just stacks up to the immense amount of people that we have injured. Andrew Meyer went down on Saturday's practice, the guy who's been filling in at guard and at center. So still not good. Also, we lost Austin Jackson, as we talked about last time. Byron Matos is still out. Jalen McKenzie is out. I mean, it's a slew of injuries that are happening. There's something to that too, right? And this is something that I really want to talk about a little bit here, because we're seeing all these injuries. I mean, secondary guys are dropping like flies, offensive linemen dropping like flies. I mean, it's a terrible situation. But I also wonder, right, the why. I've never seen a Dolphins camp just have this level of injuries consistently. Yeah, guys go down and stuff like that, but this is crazy. CC, you think it's soft? What's up, Jimmy? Here's what I'm going to say in the soft narrative. Maybe there's something to that, but maybe there's something else. This team talked about getting tougher, being tougher, playing with more intensities. Well, I would say they are playing with more intensities. And the reality of the situation is that it's resulting in injuries. At first I was like, what the heck's going on with this team freaking out about all these injuries? But you know what? Addition by subtraction. And that's no shade on anybody. I don't want anyone to get injured. In fact, I hope everybody gets healthy. But, if you're going to turn up, you're going to turn the dial up, you're going to go harder, you're going to push further on a team that's, like CC saying, chat, is soft. Well, that's kind of the way it works. You go to the gym, you work out, you're sore, you're achy, but it takes that aches and pains. It takes that, that type of breaking down to build up. I know it's a little bit wishful thinking here, but if it was the result of a team that was going to be getting it together, it's only because now, in the time you have, you're putting the work in. Come season, you don't get to practice like this. Come season, it's preparation for your next opponent, doing what you can, trying to get your body right, and then executing. At this point, in training camp, this is when the expectations are set, the levels are set. And if it's flying around, playing with intensity, and guys are getting injured because of that, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying it could be signs of a good thing happening. And I'll be looking, if the Dolphins roll out week 1 and completely just fall all over themselves and they weak and soft, then I'll be like, all right, well, but by all measure, from everyone that we know who's been to camp, all the beat writers have been at camp, the D-line has looked pretty, good as far as execution and, getting to the quarterback and doing everything they do. And the O-line was looking lackluster. Well, that measures up. If the D-line's flying around beating up on people and the O-line's taking the beating, well, the result would be that the O-line is often more injured. Who would have thunk it? And then on the flip side, the secondary, especially at cornerback position, is lacking. It's, inexperienced. It's, it's down to its last few guys. Well, when you have a strength of the offense, which is the wide receiving corps, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and company, running on lackluster guys, well, imagine that. They're coming up a little bit more injured. Iron sharpens iron. Let's hope that that is the case. So we'll have to keep an eye on things. Aaron Brewer got back and working some rust off in practice the last two practices. There has been news about Austin Jackson that he should be there for week 1. I don't know. They're saying it's a lower extremity type of injury. Hopefully it's nothing serious. In between now and then, best to get a look at some of these other guys like Borum, and which isn't Borum. Isn't the word Borum like something on the periodic table? Larry's periodic table element, Borum? I don't know. Anyhow, let's get into some of the practice notes. So shout out to Sports Illustrated, Alan Poupar, the homie. Maybe Alan Poupar will come on this year. We'll see. See if I can swing that with the homie. Another note he had in here at in the injuries at practice is Ashton Davis, who we know is kind of working his way back from an injury. Dante Trader Jr., Jason Marshall Jr., the rookie, and Cam Smith all sat out on the sidelines doing position, working on position groups after they did like their warm-ups and stuff. So didn't participate in the 11 on 11s drill. And I just got to say, Cam Smith, I mean, dude, what is up with this kid? If at this point in the literal weakest unit at cornerback, and Cam Smith can't get on the field right now, or even if he's working through some, minor injuries and stuff like that, I gotta be honest, it's no excuses, kid. I mean, this is year 3. You're a second-round draft pick. We need you more now than ever. And soft tissue injuries or whatever reason you're on the sidelines, I ain't feeling it. I'm not feeling it. To me, there's a real chance he gets cut. There's a real chance come 53-man roster cuts, they just cut bait. Because this unit is, lacking in depth, lacking in starters. I mean, right now, Storm Duck is the safety room. I'm not so bad on, but in the quarterback room, Storm Duck is pedophilia. He's top dog right now, and that's good for him. Oh, what's up, Jay Miami? I see you in chat. Carla, what's happening? Hit the like button, everybody. Yeah, so to me, Cam Smith it's a real possibility that this kid, they just say forget it. I mean, he's over here practicing on the sidelines. Crazy. I mean, wild to say. I'm really kind of just blown away at. I remember when he came out. I know, bring back Noah. I remember when he came out, and I thought, hey, you know what? Kid's got a lot of raw talent. If they can get it figured out, he's gonna be all right. I don't know what I was looking at. He's basically now going back in retrospect and looking at it. He's one of these athletes that has such good athleticism that he's able to make up for all of the shortcomings in between the ears, in the weight room, in the work, in the work ethic. He's had God-given talents to make him get this far. And at this point, when you hit the NFL, it ain't just about being talented. You got to have work ethic. You got to be, unless you're a freak talent. If you're a freak talent, that'd be different. You got Lamar Jackson talent, or Tyreek Hill talent. But even those guys, say what you want about in between the ears of Tyreek Hill. His work ethic is second to none. The guy works year round. It seems like he hasn't lost a step in all that speed. So Cam Smith really needs to, find out whether or not this is what he wants to do by his actions and by his attitude and his inability to knuckle down and grow up a little bit. To me, it doesn't look like a young man that has very much interest in playing football. A literal dream to most people everywhere, which is wild to me. Absolutely wild. So let's start with some of these practice notes here. Slow start for Tua on 11-on-11 drills. He had a badly underthrown pass to Tyreek Hill with Elijah Campbell and Sheffield around in the area. Next up, slow start again for the offense. It was a false start by Larry Borum and Jalen Wright, who needs to get his act together as well. Stumbles a little bit on the handoff and gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. What's up, Papa Ball? Hit the like button. Yeah, Carla, his attitude isn't helping. So I'm really pulling for Jalen Wright. I always pull for the young guys. Look, when you're young, God, dude, when I was their age, I was not, putting together a real setup. These kids, I get it. You're young, you're whatever, but man, I don't know what he needs to do. I feel like Jalen Wright's got the work ethic. I don't know what's going on. Is it nerves? I don't know. We'll see. Alexander Madison had a nice run on the outside. Cameron Good didn't have the angle. And Madison continuing to show sparks, which I know it sounds crazy to say, especially with Ollie Gordon getting drafted this year. I mean, do the Dolphins keep 4 running backs? I know they're going to keep Alec Ingold, barring that he's not injured. Is Jalen Wright worth being on the 53-man roster to be protected? Because Alexander Madison is showing up, the veteran. And he's still young. What is he, 26? He's still a young guy. We know Achan's number 1. We know Ollie Gordon, who just got drafted, is making it. Really, it's a fight between 3 guys to be the backup running back. And to me, by all measures, Alexander Madison's got that all but sewed up. Maybe things could change over the next couple of weeks and in preseason and stuff, but at this trajectory, it's his. And if Jalen Wright isn't careful, he's going to get passed up by Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon's starting out slow, but now he's getting going, and he's looking for contact downfield, which I love. I don't love it that it's injuring some of my some of my secondary, but hey, such is life. So hit the like button, everybody. What else we got? Tua wasn't the only one to start off a little slow. Zach Wilson was a little slow. He had an incompletion over the middle in traffic to Akeem Westbrook or Nick Westbrook, Akeem. I always do Akeem Westbrook. It's Westbrook Akeem. I don't know why I do that. Also, O-line still struggling a little bit. Mo Kamara gets the pressure. Actually, it would have been a sack on Zach Wilson right after that. And then Zach Wilson misses a throw to Hayden Rucci because he had pressure all in his face, struggles. In the red zone on Tua, he threw an incompletion to Devon Achane. Jordy Brooks had amazing coverage on that one. So, then on the next play, Tua follows it up with that touchdown throw to Westbrook Akeem. I don't know if you guys seen it, and the Dolphins shared it, but it was a nice pump fake Tua had on the play, opening him up in that second part of the window and hit him right in the back of the end zone, right in the back corner of the end zone. So it was nice to see that connection, which, we're going to be needing to see this kid a lot more. Next up in the red zone, Wilson comes in there. He does get a short little pass to Devon Achane, and then has another touchdown pass to Estridge in the back of the end zone, which was nice. But then on the next series, Quentin Bell gets right up on Wilson, making him uncomfortable. And it's crazy because like Quentin Bell in the depth chart, right, is perceptively a little bit ways down there. I mean, we know Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. We know these guys are around, but it's Mo Kamara, Grayson Murphy, Quentin Bell, all fighting to be these other outside pass rushers. And, when those are the three guys looking to be your fourth guy on your depth chart, I'll take that all day. This D-line looking for real. What's up, Finn's Rule? Hit the like button, brother. Let's see. After that pressure by Quentin Bell, a 50-yard after that pressure by Quentin Bell, Wilson gets a nice pass to a D'Estridge, who's been showing up, which is nice to see D'Estridge getting some looks out there. But then followed up after that, Cameron Good gets a nice pressure and had to be thrown away by Wilson. Again, Cameron Good, another guy. Again, Cameron Good, Grayson Murphy, Mo Kamara, Quentin Bell. Those are the four guys fighting for the pecking order on these pass rushers and outside linebacking unit, which is crazy. So, next up on the 11-11 series, Tua comes in and overthrows Hill, which doesn't happen very often. It's kind of hard to overthrow Hill, so I'm sure he had a little bit of pressure in some way to really open it up down there, but big bomb overthrown. So next up, though, he connects on another bomb to Malik Washington, 52-yarders on the left sideline. He beat Sheffield in coverage, and Sheffield kind of struggling on them deep plays a little bit. When Wilson came back in, Chop Robinson, he pretty much he blew up the play. Again, starter comes in, Wilson's back up in there. Chop Robinson just blows him up. So no love on there. A lot of pressure then again, on a busted play, trying to get a completion to Pharaoh Brown. Pretty much the whole D-line had him cooked on that one. Tua then, on his next set, he had a nice completion down the sidelines to Tanner Connor and followed it up to a nice fade ball to Jalen Waddle, who had stormed up all over him, but Jalen Waddle looking real good. Jalen Waddle had some more. We'll touch in on that. Tua then had two straight completions again to Malik Washington, or excuse me, had two straight incompletions to Malik Washington and Estridge, which is this was by being reported that this was Tua's, I don't want to say his roughest practice, but definitely one of the harder practice, which is a good sign, saying that the secondary is kind of showing up and showing out and trying to put these things together, which is great. Let's see. Later on in the practice, Tua had a nice comeback, quick slant to Waddle, which was being said that that was the best play of the day. It was near the sidelines, the next play was another one to Waddle, which, if you guys have been paying attention this camp, we've been hearing about a lot in practice about this Tua and Waddle connection. And it's looking like it's finally coming into its potential apex. And I'm just wondering, I think we all anticipated that when we got Tyreek Hill while Waddle was still young, there would be this natural progression where Tyreek Hill would be kind of phased out and Jalen Waddle would be phased in. And I think that's where we are right now. I think also Waddle's going to be the best version of himself to date. That's number one. Number two, I think Waddle is, again, he's climbing. Tyreek Hill, I don't want to say he's falling, but he's kind of falling out of favor a little bit with some of the antics. So just something to keep an eye on as the season progresses, what we're going to see out of this Jalen Waddle and Tua Tagovailoa connection. What's up, Flava J? Hit the like button, brother. Oh, I don't know exactly the time, Jimmy. I wish I had that right now, but I am going to talk about that. I do want to keep an eye, like I said, guys, on this Tua to Waddle connection. I see this. We already know they have great chemistry. They play with each other in college, blah, 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 blah. But I also think that they're both kind of coming into their own to where they've figured it out, not just with each other, but, Tua's only got these things he's got to think about. Waddle's got to only, improve in the ways he's got to improve. So shout out to the Mad Geek Finspin who says 1 p.m. All right, salute. Hit the like button, my brother. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see this grow. That's actually a very good point by you, Finn's Rule. Maybe it's this new wide receivers coach who was, wasn't he voted like the best position coach in all of football or best wide receivers coach? There was something that he won. So maybe that's it. Maybe this new wide receivers coach is the reason why. We'll talk about that later, Tonk. We're going to talk about that later. So yeah, I want to keep an eye on all of that with that stuff. But to conclude the notes from practice, I think the secondary's tightening up a little bit. It's why Tua had a little struggling today, which is a good sign. Then think about it. When you're practicing, you got a lot of guys shuffling, but finally, there's a tiny bit of continuity. Like Jack Jones is playing out there, and Storm Duck is, slotted in there, getting all the reps, all that stuff, and the communications kind of tapping in a little bit. Barring some more injuries to that unit and shuffling the deck with some more players, it sounds to me like they're kind of getting it figured out. Plus, you don't really have to win every rep when you got a D-line getting the type of pressure that they're getting around here. It's incredible. So next up on the docket is Darren Waller. Apparently is going to be ready week 1. Shout out to Josh Moser, who does the Mo's Know, the CBS Sports Extra bit where he has Drew Rosenhaus come on often. Drew Rosenhaus, who, represents tons of players, much less Miami players. He he had Drew Rosenhaus on, and this is what Drew Rosenhaus had to say about Darren Waller, who's, on the PUP list as of now. People are saying, coaches were asked about it at media days the other day, said, it's getting into football shape, which I never like to hear, but whatever. This is what Drew Rosenhaus had to say.
Hope is that tight end, your client, Darren Waller, gets back. He's right now on the physically unable to perform list coming out of retirement. In your conversations with him, when do you think he'll be ready?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Darren will be ready for the start of the regular season. I think he is working extremely hard, and it's clear that he is progressing, and he'll be ready for the start of the regular season.
Okay, so I'm just want to question now. If he's not ready for the start of the season, can we get our money back, Drew? Just asking. If Darren Waller isn't ready week 1, can I get a refund? What's the return policy on the Darren Waller situation? Can someone explain it to me? Are we getting a return policy up in this bitch? Can somebody tell me? I mean, it'll be way past the 30-day mark, but can I get a little something? Sup, Ali? Hit the like button, everybody. hit the like button. I don't know. I'm just saying, according to Drew Rosenhaus, he's working his way back. He'll definitely be available come week 1. Question is, are we going to see him at all for the preseason? How much time is he really going to get with Tua and the ones? How much work is really going to go on? You tell me. I mean, where are you at, dog? I thought you said back in February you were like, I want to go back to football again. That is literally verbatim what he said. He knows how big he's got to get, what he's got to do. I get it. He was retired for a little while, but it's not a guess. And the Dolphins, you all bought him out of retirement. You paid him to come here. So he better be ready week 1 because we need him. I don't care what you say. We need a pass-catching threat at tight end. We got all these other moving parts. We saw what Jonnu Smith did last year from the tight end position. And I'm sorry, I don't want to say I'm out on Alec Ingold, but him getting a concussion in practice recently and the bit of injuries and concussions with him, not saying that we can't count on him, but I know I can't count on him for a full season. So we'll see. We shall see. So this Friday, joint practices with the Bears in Chicago. This will be the live fire exercise I'll be dying to see. Now, we know how joint practices work. Quarterbacks wear red. You cannot touch them. But everything else goes. And, these coaches meet beforehand. They have very in particular discussions. The Bears' best pass rusher or new pass rusher or someone they want to get work against. They're going to try to line them up against the Dolphins' best offensive lineman right now, Patrick Paul. The Bears want to get a look at their guy. The Dolphins want to get a look at Patrick Paul against some other guys. I don't think the Bears have anything as far as the caliber of pass rushers that we have here. So, vice versa. I'm sure the Bears are going to want to get a look at their O-line, which they've been doing a lot of work to, against this Miami Dolphins front 7, especially this front 4. We're going to have to see how this secondary really holds up against another team that they're not getting looks at. We're going to have to see how this offensive line really holds up against another team. Look, this is important. I like these joint practices. I do. Because to me, the preseason is, you get some of the guys in, but for the most part, you're not really working in a lot of the starters. And you're trying not to. I don't know. I think you should more. I think, iron sharpens iron. Again, it's a saying everybody's heard. But either way, these joint practices, minus the quarterbacks not being allowed to hit, you're giving everybody work. And, if you're the Bears and you've got guys you want to get a look at, you're looking at the Dolphins and saying, all right, I need to see or know some stuff about this corner. How's he handle one-on-one against Tyreek Hill? How's he handle one-on-one against Jalen Waddle? I need to see this tackle, this guard. How are they going to handle Kenneth Grant? How are they going to handle Zack Sieler, who's feeling himself with, couple milli more? How are they going to handle Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Phillips? And then there are other guys. You got on the flip side, Dolphins. They've got, again, we know Chop Robinson. We know who the top 3 pass rushers are. As we said earlier, which one of these guys are going to emerge as the next pass rusher underneath them? Well, I'll tell you what. Who's showing up to that joint practice in Chicago? Who going to put that together? Who's going to get her done? So, yeah. I'll be interested. I love joint practices. I wish they televised those because you get to see. I think you get to see a little bit more of the action out of those matchups. How they kind of try to get things lined up for them. So, question though: will Tua play in the preseason? It's a fair question. I mean, I doubt he'll play in the Chicago game, but hey, maybe it's the time to. Maybe this Chicago defense you're not too afraid of, and you think that, Tua's going to be a little safer back there. But I wonder, should Tua play in the preseason? What do you guys think? Do you think he should play? Do you think the Dolphins should sit him? Do you think they should protect him at all costs? Tua should be in nothing but sweats on the sidelines, eating sunflower seeds, waiting. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think because I think Tua should play in the preseason. I think he should. I think this team needs it. I think everybody needs it. I think Tua needs it. Let's call it for what it is. The cadence, these guys on the O-line, this all these moving parts needs to happen. What's up, Bryson, the homie? You want to see him against Detroit? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm again. I think he should play as much as humanly possible, bro. Everybody should. So, before we get into the next thing, guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing if you're new. If you're watching on X, Twitch, Kick, Cup on a String, Smoke Signals, wherever you guys are enjoying the program, make sure you guys are coming into TFTG on or the Fins Tailgate on YouTube and hitting the like button, subscribing, turn on notification bells, all that good stuff. And also, guys, make sure to check out tftgnetwork.com where you can get all the Miami Dolphins swag, things you can't even believe, custom items that you can find nowhere else. Some of the coolest stuff out there available at tftgnetwork.com. Check out tftgnetwork.com for all the tailgating needs. All right, so couple of things. Well, real quick, I don't know if you guys seen, but NFL top 100, Tyreek Hill makes the list again, even though it's his worst year pretty much. Only, under 1,000 receiving yards. I think he only had, 6 touchdowns. But it still gets him as the 47th top 100 player. And I guess when you're number one and you have a down year, it still ends you at the top 50. He's inside the top 50 still. And rightfully so. The guy is an elite talent. Say what you want about the off-field stuff and the distractions and all those things. Minus all that other nonsense, the guy is he's one of the best football players in the league and has been for a while. So haters gonna hate, but Tyreek Hill's still doing his thing. I mean, let's call it for what it is. Hopefully it'll be doing his thing in the playoffs and winning for the Dolphins this year. So that would be kind of nice. Let's do that thing, Tyreek. Because being NFL top 100, the number one guy the year prior, and being NFL top 100 this year at number 47 hasn't stopped a particular little rumor trend that's been going on. Now, I seen this about a week ago, or maybe, I don't know, it was almost 2 weeks ago now that I think about it, and thought, it's just this. But it is not dying. And there's speculation that the Dolphins are over Tyreek Hill. I know Dolphin fans, I wouldn't say all of them, but most Dolphin fans are out on Tyreek Hill. They're sick of the antics. They don't like that he quit. All that stuff. They hate that. Well, another guy who's not showing up, Scary Terry ain't showing up to the Commanders. He wants to be traded. He wanted to be paid. Now he feels disrespected and wants his dollars. And, it's pretty much holding out right now, seeking a trade. Now, Tyreek Hill hasn't asked for a trade. In fact, he says he loves Miami, wants to be here, all that stuff. But he continues to put his foot in his mouth, and with the offseason antics and also the amount of, pressure he's getting from, Tua calling him out and, media saying he's late to practice and all this stuff. I mean, how much more are the Dolphins going to stomach? How much more are they going to deal with in this? Are they going to find themselves going, forget it, I'm sick of dealing with this guy, all that stuff? I don't know. I question it. But I'll tell you what, if they were interested in making a trade and there's a little bit of swap, I mean, listen, Terry McLaurin's great. He's no Tyreek Hill. And he's the one wanting out. And, after Jaden Daniels and what they did in the playoffs last year, I don't think they're interested in taking a step back and losing a type of talent like Terry McLaurin. So I wonder, push come to shove and they're kind of behind the eight ball a little bit, and Chris Greer kind of gets in his bag a little bit and wheels and deals. Not only could they end up with Tyreek Hill and us end up with Scary Terry, but I think there's a little bit of cheddar sprinkled on top of that. I think there's some pick action that can come in there. And I think everybody's happy. I don't know what you're talking about, Bryson. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't troll. I ain't even on the internet like that, like some other people around here. I just stay in my lane, do the tailgate, and every now and again I gotta put people in their place. No spaces. El Capitan only dropping in on some spaces every now and again. If you want to catch the full Capitan, you gotta catch him here. That's what you gotta do. Hit the like button. I mean, what do you guys think? Would you trade Hill for Terry McLaurin in some kind of, pick exchangement, as well as, maybe some extra for the Dolphins? I wonder. I'm just wondering. I don't think this rumor is going to die until either A, Terry McLaurin gets his bag or gets traded, or B, Tyreek Hill stops getting his freaking foot put in his mouth. I don't know. I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to stop doing what he's doing. He ain't changed ever. And I don't expect, I'm going to say this about Tyreek Hill because so many people hate on Tyreek Hill. I don't know why. He is literally the same guy we've brought in here all along. He's literally the guy doing, saying, acting on, off the field in every way, shape, and form. Nothing's really changed with him. From what I could see, he's still just as effective as a football player. So it's not like he's fallen off a cliff and you're dealing with all this. If he fell off a cliff and you were dealing with all that, then it's an easy decision. I like Terry, but Reek is built different. Level with him, da. Well, I mean, that might be the case. Blowing CB Cloud says the problem with Scary Terry is who wants a big contract. I wouldn't pay him that. Well, what's a big contract? Probably a lot more than he's getting. But I don't think it's any more than what Tyreek is getting right now. And if, let's say the money is kind of even for this year, next year, every dime you're paying Tyreek, you're going to end up paying Terry, right? But you also get some picks. You get Tyreek Hill up out of here. I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. Something to consider. That's all I'm going to say. Something to consider. But back to Tyreek Hill and people hating him for being the Tyreek Hill that we've always known and loved. I mean, he had the problems in KC and the antics that we're seeing exhibited here still. But also, he's still killing it. He's still NFL top 100, number 47. Oh, it's a down year from number 1 to number 47. He's still respected by all in the league on the field. Crazy. Crazy. Let's get on to our next topic. Well, hold on. I had some other notes I might wanted to touch on. Let me see where they is. Oof. Well, while we're talking about this Scary Terry, Tyreek Hill, all this nonsense, I don't know. I'm sure you guys may or may not have heard this, but Colin Cowherd had some things to say about these Dolphins. Now, Colin Cowherd and Mike Florio have been stealing the Fins tailgates, takes, bits, everything for a long time. But now they've gotten to where they steal the take and the bit, but then like muddy the water of it to recreate it as their own. Because some of the things Colin Cowherd's saying here, I kind of agree with. And then some of the things, not only is the data wrong, but it's just a blatant lie. So let's listen in to what Colin Cowherd has to say about Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel and the issues that could result in some weird scenario where the Dolphins trade Terry McLaurin to Hill. So I'm just saying. Listen in.
It's just interesting to me who the media covets favor to. Like there are times that the media just decides we like that guy and we're going to defend that guy. And I've argued that Mike McDaniel in Miami looks like a sports writer. He's kind of snarky and quirky and like they just decided we like that guy. And Nick Sirianni's kind of obnoxious. He had a bad opening press conference. And I admit, I was like, this guy looks like he's over his skis. But I've come full circle on Sirianni. It works. Players like him. Matt Hasselbeck yells at me. He's good. McDaniel's been a funny guy because Miami is noisy. The Tyreek Hill situation. Is anybody like, do you think Belichick would put up with that? Belichick would have moved off that guy. I mean.
Well, let's talk about it before we continue on. Mike McDaniel being loved over being respected? I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather have love, or would you rather be respected? What do you think, Ali? Would you rather be respected or loved?
I'd rather
Not
be
by your family,
respected.
not by your wife, by contemporaries, by your peers, by your.
I would rather be respected.
I mean, that's the
I mean,
easy answer.
listen. If people love you, right? That means that that no matter what, I could do wrong, bad, or whatever, and people are still gonna love me. They're gonna give me all the passes on things that really they shouldn't give me passes for. If they respect me, then they're gonna make sure that they keep me at my best. And they when they have to keep it on their best at the same time.
Ali, you're cooking, buddy. That I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, I want people's love and of a family. They'll love you and hold you accountable too. But in a workplace, they can love you all they want, but they're going to love you because of how you treat them. I'd rather them respect me for how I treat them, because I don't think it's a good thing to have all this. Oh, everybody likes this, likes that. It's fun to be around. I mean, it is if that means it's fun to be around because we're winning, because we're dominant. But if the results aren't there, maybe a little bit of fear and respect is in order. And I know that they're trying to get tougher, but it is something to worry about.
I mean, if you really think about it, El Cap, you said it. You said it yourself right there, right? It's different. It's okay to have fun. It's great to have fun and be lovey-dovey and all that stuff. It's all great, but only if you're winning. You look
Mhm.
at Kansas City Chiefs, for example. They're the only team in history that I got to see live on TV play Ring Around the Rosie right into a snap, right? Why did they get to do that? Because they win. They win,
Mhm.
consistently win, right? They've been in how many Super Bowls over the past 3 years? You think
God,
about it. So,
they're in every. It seems like they're in every one or every other one.
yeah. So for me, that's what allows you to do that. In 2023, our offense was on fire. We got to have fun because we were winning, but we didn't win enough. We didn't get the job done. Let's get the job done first, and we can have fun later.
Well, in this argument, this is what I ultimately believe is why Christian Wilkins, ex-Miami Dolphin, who signed a big deal with the Raiders, it's not just his injury and the things that they wanted him to do for his injury, but also I believe the type of attitude. They just weren't vibing. The team isn't doing well, and you're playing around. You're goofing off. You're all lovey-dovey, kissing people on their forehead and playing friggin' grab ass while everyone's frustrated, angry, and trying to work hard to be better. And I guarantee you, he was the same grab ass doofus guy while on IR, while everyone's striving and hating it and trying to grind and get better. He's all freaking snapping towels and kissing people on the forehead. And I mean, they put their foot heavy into the ground and said, "Out of here, son." And I promise you this: Tom Brady probably had a lot of say in that type of stuff. I guarantee it. Like, why the hell are we wasting money? And most organizations would bend. They would break. They would say, God, we just gave them all this money. If we get rid of them now, we're gonna be out 36 million and got nothing in production. The guy made, I think it was $55 million and only played 5 games. But better to cut your losses now when you got grab ass going on and goofing off going on when we're trying to be serious and have business. We can have fun later. It's business time right now. and it's time to act like that.
Mhm.
And I don't think they wanted to deal with that. I think that they had enough and evidence of so. I know that's not what they're saying, but they've kind of hinted around a lot of the stuff. He's acting weird. There's the kiss on the forehead. I think it's just bit by bit. Yes, the injury and stuff like that, but ultimately I think he wasn't vibing with that team because he's used to the grab ass type of laxed, everyone's accepted with their goofy silliness on a football team. And he picked that up in the Miami Dolphins and picked it up from Mike McDaniel. And it's something they say that they're changing, and God willing, I hope that they are. But if they don't, we'll know. Because these fun time, boy band cool kid club with everyone's holding hands, hands across America, pat each other on the back. You can't talk to people like that. That's the first team to hang their head low and shrink down between their shoulders when the going gets tough around here.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up Tom Brady, and I just want to touch on this real quick. We may not like Tom Brady around here because he played for a rival, right? But I will say one thing is consistent about him, and it's funny that he's with the Raiders now, and I'll get into that in a second, is he was consistently all about execution. If you watched him in practice, even middle of games, you would see him pissed off, yelling at players for not executing. I think there was a game I was watching where he was mic'd up, yelling and screaming about being the excellence of execution, right? And he was all business, and then you win the game, and then you get to have fun. You got to see him come to Tampa. Yeah, he had some fun, but he was still that it's all business. Then we have fun afterwards. There's a job to do. Right? There's a job to do. Well, he's now with the Raiders. What did the Raiders do? Not only do they have Tom Brady in-house, who was at training camp the other day and looked like he's getting ready to coach the team, to be honest, the way he's walking around and everything. You also have Pete Carroll, right? Another guy who's all about accountability.
No.
They have Chip. Hold on real quick. I just want to land real quick. I'm sorry. They have Chip Kelly, another guy that's all about accountability. And if you see where those guys came from when it comes to even the college programs that they made famous, and more recently, you looked at Chip Kelly being at Ohio State, it's about keeping everybody accountable, executing, business first, we'll have fun later. That's what the whole culture that they came from, right? And Wilkins himself, you think about it, he just had back-to-back, what do they call that? Regimes under a defensive coordinator that wants to not necessarily have fun, wants to make it all business and we'll have fun later. Vic Fangio, for example. Weaver, I will say, is even kind of keeps people accountable for what they do, to be honest. Right?
I mean, he does, but I don't think he's as soft.
But you look at Vic Fangio, and then you look at even before that, Flores. We had Flores here, right?
Yeah.
Under those regimes, you had a defensive coordinator that, to be honest, kept you accountable, right? Yeah. It wasn't fun and all that stuff. So what does he do? He leaves. He takes the biggest money paycheck day ever, right? Going to Vegas, think he's going to be able to live up the strip. And guess what? They're not about let's play funny business. They're about we want to take care of business. We'll play later. That's what they're about. And that's why I respect what the Raiders are doing. Yeah. Will it work? I don't know. But I will say this, though. You're right. I don't think it's all about, what you were saying about the money and stuff. I think it's you play all these little games and you don't want to put in the effort to take care of business. This is what's going to happen. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, 100%. I went on a rant. I apologize.
No, ran away, buddy. We got, I needed it. I'm in complete agreement with you. I mean, I don't think the Raiders are going to be a world beater by any means, or I don't think they're going to overtake the Chiefs. Plus, they got the friggin' Chargers, and I mean, the Raiders are in a bad situation. They're in probably the toughest, division in football right now, or conference in football right now, with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, the Broncos with Bo Nix and Sean Payton over there. And, John Harbaugh with his whole thing he's got going on and reinventing that team, but I'll tell you what, if they were ever going to figure a way to get competitive and face up to the, from the bottom face up, Pete Carroll coming in there, legend, Chip Kelly design, has all his accolades. You could say what he want and how he kind of fell apart in Philly, but it's not, it's not because the guy hasn't been really great. He keeps getting these jobs for a reason, right? And then
He just
Tom
won a
Brady,
national championship. Goddamn.
I know, but
I
you
mean-
remember what happened with Chip Kelly and the Eagles.
Oh yeah, I get you.
And,
I get
there's
you.
always that thing, but he's not the head coach, so that's not a problem. But
No, but here's where the Raiders are at. They're all about business because they know they just played a risky game, letting Wilkins go. They're opening the cap so they can go after a quarterback next season. In my opinion, they're going to draft the quarterback of their future. Geno Smith is not the guy for them. That's the guy in the interim just for now. Yeah. But I can tell you, when you have a draft that you're going to have a Drew Adler or the guy, Nussmeier, I think his name is, the guy at LSU, or some of these other guys, right? This is a draft. You want to draft the quarterback and you want to start building around him very quickly. So they're making a move almost like what Dallas did when they cut Russell Wilson out of nowhere. And look where they're at now. They're a playoff contender now. Right, they're a much better team than they were off. So I think that's kind of the move that the Raiders are looking at, especially when you said it yourself. Mahomes, Bo Nix, and Justin Herbert's there. Yeah, that's a pack-loaded division. They need a quarterback. Geno Smith is not a guy that I think is going to be able to compete with those three other quarterbacks. Just my opinion.
Yeah, but we'll see. Again, if the Raiders were ever going to compete, at least it looks like they're trying to with the type of moves they're making. But let's get back to this Colin Cowherd on Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill.
Is anybody do you think Belichick would put up with that? Belichick would have moved off that guy. I mean, Andy Reid did move off that guy. And yet Mike McDaniel, and this was always my thing, is he a culture builder? Yeah, he's smart. A lot of smart people aren't great football coaches. So I feel the Tyreek Hill situation a couple of days ago, it's like, hey, you got to show up. You got to show up every day, be on time. And then he wasn't on time and he's never really punished. And I just think the best coaches in this league set a certain standard, but nobody calls Mike McDaniel out. It's that he's got this incredible football acumen. Here's the thing. The 2 years before he got there, and the media did not like Brian Flores because Brian Flores is disagreeable. He's rough. He's lousy at a press conference. He's an unbelievable coach. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in the league. Brian Flores of Minnesota. In fact, I was reading the other day, The Athletic ranked all the coaching staffs in the NFL. They put Minnesota number 1. I don't disagree. I think San Francisco is up there. The Rams are up there. But it's like, I didn't disagree with that. Flores is unbelievable. But he's not somebody that's going to curry favor with the people who cover him. He's rough on people. He's rough on players. McDaniel, I think Flores is a better coach than Mike McDaniel. Okay? 8 games into his Miami stay, Brian Flores had established elite special teams and elite defense. What am I, 3-4 years into Mike McDaniel? What are they? I looked it up this morning. The 2 years before he got there, Miami was 10-6 and 9-8. The last 3 years with Mike McDaniel, they're 28-23. They have a lower win percentage.
It's true.
I don't get it. But he's gotten such favorable press. There have been 14 different head coaches that have made the playoffs since he arrived in Miami. He's not one of them.
That's not true. That's just straight line because he did make the playoffs. So there is that. That's kind of where he, yeah. But look, again, he's got something there. Where's Mike McDaniel's accountability for practicing what he preaches when it comes to Tyreek Hill? And, if I'm going to measure him to Brian Flores, I would say Mike McDaniel is a better offensive coach than Brian Flores. I don't think anybody's going to push back on that. I would say Brian Flores is probably the better football coach, I would say Mike McDaniel's the better NFL franchise coach. See what I'm saying? There's this weird if I could just take Mike McDaniel and I could take Brian Flores, I could smash them together and make Brian Flores McDaniel, we would have the perfect coach. Where's that guy at?
Well, a lot of people don't want to talk about this, LCAP, but that was Chris Greer's plan all along. That was his plan. We tried to do that, but the 49ers decided to give him some fake promotion, right? To hold on to him. And this is where we ended up with. And we ultimately left Flores and went with McDaniel. We do need a Flores back in this building. But I don't want to say that our defense is horrible because under the McDaniel era, because if you really think about it, and you go look at the stats and you look at the ratings, even game by game, there are times where we're playing as if we're a top 5 defense. It's happened every season under McDaniel. There are games where our defense plays above their means. So I don't want to say that our defense is horrible, the offense is horrible. Obviously, that's not true. You can look at 2023 to give you an example. So I disagree with him, but I think I would agree with him in the current status. We don't know what our identity is now. I'm not sure what it is on offense yet. The defense, you and I know what the plan is. It's all about that front seven, to be honest. But will it work? I don't know. So I would say it's fair to say that for this year and parts of last year. But I don't want to say that the defense is absolutely atrocious, because I think that's the one common denominator that has been the same from the get-go, from when Flores left and McDaniel being here, is our defense. Our defense, I personally think, has been the same. I don't think it has changed at all.
Yeah, no, if one thing, the defense has been pretty damn consistent, even when injuries happened the year before last in 2023, and a lot of people wanted to be like, oh, that the injuries on the defense, that wasn't what the defense is not. When we lost Van Ginkel and everybody we lost, the backups came in, whatever. That was not the reason for the faults the last 2 years. The defense's injuries is not what hold us back. It's the offense's production, offense's ability against the better teams, for lack of a better term. And G2, shout out to G, hit the like button, homie, says to think about it, our offense was horrible under Flores. He had way less talent and came and put up some good, decent numbers. Fitzpatrick at quarterback, journeyman. The weaponry wasn't like how it is now. We've said this plenty of times. If you look at the talent across the board as far as weaponry goes at the offensive line or offensive everywhere, we haven't had this type of weaponry around here. You got 2 number 1 wide receivers. You got a top tier running back. You've got a top tier fullback. Last year you had a top tier tight end. We're talking Pro Bowlers and all this stuff sprinkled everywhere in this team.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like, oh, who's going to be our third wide receiver? Those teams wish they had a number 1, much less a third. They're trying to look for an answer at number 1, much less who's going to be the good third wide receiver. It's crazy.
I love the name of this guy in the chat. I'm just going to call him CBD. CBD, I want to say that I do agree with you that eventually they'll both be gone. But I'll tell you, whenever one leaves, I think the other one will leave, which basically means that if Tua's gone, so is McDaniel. If McDaniel's gone, then Tua's gone. Because I think that they're joined at the hip. The only reason we have McDaniel here was to fix Tua. So that's why I think, I think they're right.
I disagree.
You disagree? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think there's a world in which McDaniel can survive the loss of Tua moving on. I don't see a world in which Tua survives McDaniel being fired.
Okay, that's fair enough. But the reason I'm going with that is because McDaniel, the one thing he hasn't proven to me in the past, what, 3 and now, what is this, year 4 now or whatever, um, is the fact that he hasn't proven that he can adapt and change his offense to put better performance using the strengths of other QBs that are not Tua here. He wants to keep the system the same, exactly the same, and just force whatever QB to run that system. I don't think he has the ability to bring in a new quarterback here. Let's say we were to get Arch Manning. I'm just using him as an example, even though I don't think we'll get him, but let's say we use him as an example, right? You bring Arch Manning here, who's not Tua. I don't think McDaniel's going to be able to run anything else because he hasn't proven that he can. And that's what concerns me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to be running the same system, and not every quarterback can run this system. We already agreed to that. I know. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to work. Good.
I got to be honest. I don't find this system to be extremely complicated as far as looking for someone who can operate it.
No, it's not. It's not necessarily complicated. The issue is that everything has to be perfect. It does not leave any room for variables.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And that's the problem. And
it was the hang up. It was the hang up with Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill. He couldn't do it.
No, I agree. But you look at the 49ers history, right? When the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl, the 49ers and Rams game, that NFC championship game, the game was really good. 49ers were actually in it. I thought they're going to win it. One player went down and their whole system just collapsed, right? Our same thing here. Tua goes down, the system collapsed. Tyreek goes down, all of a sudden we can't throw the ball anymore, right? It has like Achilles heels all over the place. That's the problem.
That's kind of where that's what I'm looking to upgrade at the quarterback position in that way, because we're seeing more dual threat quarterbacks. We're seeing quarterbacks with elite arm talent, and those types of attributes that when a Tyreek Hill does go down, it's not break glass. It's not, oh God, we've got nothing to counter. What we're hoping to counter is buy more time in the pocket, maybe run the ball, or just heave one down there to spread this defense out. And that's not really something we can count on for Tua for any of those things. In fact, we're begging him to not run with that football. We're begging him to throw it away and live for another down. Now, you're right. If Tua remains healthy all year, but we have key position talent that falls apart, then the result will be the same. What we're really asking for is all of the weapons and the quarterback to not get injured all year, because there's no way in which one or the other can make it without each other. And to me, that you're right, that is a losing system. But I think this system could be just as effective. What you're asking for is a guy who can operate it, but also can, make off script plays when you want. Because ultimately, a perfectly planned system can have on offense can have a perfectly planned defense of it, and you could just be back and forth, and the game will come down to moments made by playmakers. And if everybody's right where they need to be, and all the coaching is perfect and the communication's perfect, it's going to take the special talent, the Calvin Johnsons, the Barry Sanders, the big time talent weapons to overtake that. And that's a perfect example, because a lot of times I think we have it, but how good is that going to happen if you can't get the ball to them? Because A, you don't have time, B, your quarterback can't get it done, whatever the case may be. To me, there's a lot of variables. I would really like to take this offense to the next level with a dynamic quarterback that has a couple of things. That's what I want.
Looks like you hit the big league, El Cap. Aiden Ross's lawyer is messaging you.
He says talking for an hour isn't content. Okay, so what's content then? You want to play video games for 7 hours like the rest of these fucking idiots out here? I mean, is that fucking content now? Playing video games like a dork? I don't know if I grew up in a time where, you played video games, but that wasn't your life, bro. Yeah. That ain't getting you no chicks. You can think that it is, and I get it. Yeah, there's some chicks that, link up with the 1 out of every 3 million gamers online that are famous. But I promise you she's cheating on him with a guy like me. Bet that. Dork.
JC, yes, maybe not on here, so to speak, during the season, because I want to focus on the Dolphins here on TFTG. But on my own channel, 4th and 10U, we have been talking college football. I'm on a summer break right now, but we're about to pick it back up within a week because Texas and Ohio State's coming soon. That'll be, and I don't know if you heard, but that's going to be the biggest college football game of the year. Being the fact that it's the first game of the season.
I like that one. I like that Miami week 1 too, bro. There'll be a lot
Miami
of
versus Notre Dame. That one.
Yeah, I mean,
that one in the LSU versus Clemson game, I think is going to be huge.
That's it. Those 3.
Yeah, this week one college football is a banger. That's what I'll tell you. There's a lot of bangers, to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
It is.
So the final topic, and I seen a Jets fan in here. I think it was Sean something. I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, and the Jets all look like trash. And I get it. Aaron Rodgers is no longer with the Jets, but he looked like trash with them, and he looks like trash without them. And hold on, let me pull up my statisticals here, because that Jets fan was asking, "Oh, why is he looking like trash?" Blah 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 blah. I just want to point out the numbers for Fields his last 3 practices. 0 touchdowns. He's gone 2 of 10, 4 of 16, 2 of 6, and an interception. That's his last 3 practices. That's trash. Now, is this the chicken or the egg, right? We know Fields has struggled. We've seen him play well, but we also know he hasn't played well enough. It's why the Bears moved off of him. It's why he's no longer in Pittsburgh. It's why he's now on his, third times a charm tour with an organization like the Jets, who have mightily failed at quarterback over and over and over again. I get it. We're no bigger to talk about it, but I would say Tua's limited successes is better than anything that the Jets have had at quarterback in a dog's age. It's been forever, bro. So is this the chicken or the egg? Because we do know Aaron Rodgers, underwhelming, all of that stuff, but I just want to know, Aaron Rodgers looks even worse than ever. What's up, Mondo? Salute. Aaron Rodgers looks even worse than ever, bro. Let me share this video. I want to show you guys a clip of Aaron Rodgers at practice. Seeing him practice like this makes me think, oh, he just wanted the hype. He wanted the media thing. He wanted to be beloved and liked by another city. It's all about Aaron Rodgers and everything. And I can't believe the Pittsburgh Steelers got him. I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's got the arm, yada, yada, yada. But he ain't got those twinkle toes like he used to. And you know how I know? Look at this nonsense. I didn't know that. I didn't think this was Aaron Rodgers. I thought it was somebody else. But look at him go. Hold on. Let me turn this friggin'. Just look. Just watch this. Look at him. Look at him. I mean, what happened to Twinkle Toes, dude? Look at this. I don't know who this trainer is, but he's whipping him up.
Well, I've seen I have seen quarterbacks run this drill But aren't they supposed to have like 2 or 3 guys trying to swipe the ball out of their hands while they
Yeah, a
do
lot
it?
of times they get those foam things on their arms and they're smacking you and
That's
stuff
what
like
it
that
looks
to
like
get
he's
it out of
trying
the
to run
hands.
here. I don't think
Yeah,
he's
but
supposed to be like Twinkle Toes. I think he's like supposed
well,
to
no.
like
Again,
good.
Ali, you're supposed to. It's like a square dancing. They've got a couple different names for it, but you're supposed to shuffle step set, shuffle step set, shuffle step set, up back, up forward back forward, up forward back forward, like a thing. And it looks slow. It looks like he's got. I mean, look at his feet. Like it's just they're not even coming up off the ground. That is not the Aaron Rodgers I remember.
I
It
get you.
looks.
What I was trying to say is that he looks like he's running that other drill where they're supposed to be smacking the ball out of your hand constantly. That's what he looks like he's trying to do, but it's like a different drill. Maybe he's confused about what drill he was running.
I
You,
don't
you
know.
know
I
what
think
I'm
he's.
saying?
I mean, they could still do that and have the ball swats and stuff like that. But to me, it looks like he's just like, all right, let me do this so I can show the young guys, I'm a team. I'm a team player guy. I don't want
See
to
that?
run this drill. I'm not interested in running this drill. I'm doing it because I have to.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
doesn't
I
look like
kind
a
of
guy
agree
who's
with
trying to
G.
execute.
It looks so bad. It looks intentional.
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
agreeing with G on that.
You
So.
think he's playing possum? I don't think so, bro. Remember, he went out friggin' in the blink of an eye week 1 his first year with the Jets.
But hear me out though. So the difference, I have a lot of friends and family that are there in Pittsburgh and go to training camp and stuff, right? They're there on the boots on the ground. And they're
Okay.
telling me, as well as I'm hearing in the media as well, so I'm getting it from both sources, that this is a different Aaron Rodgers than what was at the Jets. The Jets was like, I'm still hot shit, back up, little kid, and let me take care of business. Right? It's my way or the highway. We saw that in the first the 2 seasons with the Jets. He even got his coach fired, and it was, oh, it's not me, it's him. We all agreed with that. But Will Howard, the guy they drafted in the 5th or 6th round, and the other guys that are there, and other players that are there are telling me that Aaron Rodgers is like really super cool and nice to them. He's actually giving them tips and pointers, and he's trying to show me the ropes of how things to do, how I can get better, and how I should keep in my body, and my form and everything. I only hear that of players that know it's their time is up and they're trying to pass the torch down. This being the last year, since he said it's
Pass
his
it to
last
who?
year anyways, is he passing the torch down?
To
Is that
who?
what's happening?
To who? He ain't
Whoever
passing
their
the torch.
quarterbacks, they have Will Howard. I mean, Will Howard's a good quarterback. I mean, a lot of people in
He
this
ain't passing no
around
torch.
the
And
camp say that he's actually surprising and
you know
turning heads
what?
there.
I remember hearing that same nonsense all off season with the Jets. And they were picking the Jets to win the division, win the AFC, all that stuff. Now the media ain't clapping those cheeks like they were for the Jets, because you know how Jets media and all that stuff
And
is.
maybe
But
you're right, El Cap. I just haven't heard that. That's what I did.
I,
I didn't hear
and
that for the Jets. That's just me though.
again, he
Go ahead.
was all honeymoon, lovey dovey with everyone and everything. His first year there with the Jets. Then when he went down with injury, it went silent. And then the second year, when he was coming back, all of the shortcomings aren't on him. Now, they ended up moving off of him, but not after he got the entire coaching staff and everything torched on the way out. And I want everyone to remember this conversation, bookmark it. Because I'm telling you this, when the divide happens, and it will, because that's how Rodgers gets down, he will be happy to throw Tomlin, who's already lost a lot of favor with the fan base, under the bus. And it could end the exact same way it ended with the Jets. Underwhelming performances. They blame Rodgers. They blame Tomlin. And both are out of there. I don't foresee them getting the type of success they think they're going to get with Rodgers, especially after that video I just seen. And then some. Okay? And to me, Tomlin becomes available. I know DK is great. I get it. all the more reason why some diva nonsense going to happen when Rodgers can't get him.
I mean, I like DK as well. I think at his best, he's definitely a beast for sure. I know they got some pieces there. What I will say is this: I understand they're getting an old time Aaron Rodgers, right? That's fine, but they were able to be a playoff contender with virtually no quarterback at the helm. Let's see what they can do with an old time Aaron Rodgers. All I'm saying is I still think they're a playoff contender one way or the other. That's what I'm saying.
I would say because Mike Tomlin has
it might be. You might be right, but still.
But if this could be the year. I really think so. This is the year they moved all their chips in with this Aaron Rodgers thing. They did.
And not just with Aaron Rodgers, with Ramsey and with everything. Jonnu Smith, the whole 10 yards. Yeah.
And look at this. Jonnu Smith's a nice guy and one of these dudes that get it going. But Ramsey, he's not somebody to keep quiet.
And Lewis, I do agree with that 100%. Aaron Rodgers is one of the most overrated quarterbacks of this era. I do agree with that.
I think, look, Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay was making a lot of things happen. He was pretty damn good. And a lot of it was in prime time where people got to see it. And he won a Super Bowl. But there was definitely a inflated ego that overshadowed his ability to get the job done. That also spoils his relationships in the organization and what he's at. I mean, how many years did we listen to Aaron Rodgers shit talk the freaking Green Bay Packers
and LaFleur and the whole 10 yards? Yeah,
it was like 5 years in a row. He complained about talent, complained about drafting, complained about coaching, and every time they paid him more money to shut up. He didn't care about getting that right. He cared about getting more money. And I'm telling you now, he cares about getting more money again with the Steelers. And it's going to cost Tomlin his job.
It might. It very well might. But, I will say this. There's definitely a distinct difference between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre, even when he left Green Bay,
loved him.
He had the stint at the Jets for one season or whatever. He went to Minnesota and was still competitive, bro. He almost took them to a Super Bowl. I remember they were winning the game against the Saints.
He wasn't competitive with them Jets, though.
That he wasn't. You're right. But what I'm saying is that he proved he could go to another team and still play at a very high level, is what I was saying. Aaron Rodgers has yet to prove that.
It's true.
You understand what I'm saying? The GOAT, Tom Brady, went to Tampa and picked it up like he never left. You get what I'm saying? Even Kurt Warner won one or two Super Bowls with St. Louis Rams at the time, fastest team on turf, right? And what happened? He turned around and took the Arizona Cardinals on a Super Bowl run. They didn't necessarily win it, but they definitely got him there. He was competitive. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the guy, but so far he hasn't proven that he can be competitive outside of his original team.
I mean, you'll get no pushback from me on that, but I don't think it's anything. I don't even think it has to do with ability. I think it has to do with attitude.
Yeah, because
I still think he has the abilities, but I think, when the going gets tough, I don't think he's a quitter. I think he's a finger pointer. And he's a throw everybody under the bus. And he's a guy that goes out on Pat McAfee or, that talks to whatever reporter he's close with. And he's sleazy. He's kind of a fucking douchebag, if we're being real, and that's
weird.
fine. You can, and you could say Rodgers is humbled now. But I've seen humbled Rodgers before. He's going to be a guy that when anything comes up, and the heat starts getting on, he's not going to be out here calming it down, cooling it down. He's going to deflect. He's going to throw it on somebody. And right now, Mike Tomlin's time with the fans especially is short. And this, do not be surprised if they miss the playoffs. Mike Tomlin out of there, Aaron Rodgers out of there, and this team looks to reset. And that's going to be great.
I mean, I agree with Lewis. He has a bunch of me stats, right? What I think the downfall of Aaron Rodgers was when you had that blow up with the organization previously. Why did you sign the contract with the Green Bay Packers again? Why did you extend? Why didn't you just say, hey, I don't think this is for me. Let me find a new team to go to. And you would have still had time for that team to build around you and everything. You could have had a good run. But I don't know. It's just weird. He makes some weird decisions, right? And then when it doesn't work out, he wants to blame everyone around him and not take any accountability to what happened. Was it the Jets' fault that he tore his Achilles? I just want to know. I'm asking for a friend.
No, but I don't think it's. I mean, that's kind of hard to say. That's not really anybody's fault when something like that happens. I would say yes, it is Jets' fault for signing a damn near 40-year-old quarterback and thinking he's going to reinvent himself and come there and do the Jets.
Meanwhile, Zach Wilson came in that game and won the game.
And has never been a Tom Brady. That's the facts.
That's true. I don't think he'll ever will be anyone like that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So, but and that also too, Justin Fields with the Jets. Get a good look, people, because to me, this is probably the last time you see Justin Fields outside of a single game relief for whatever team he's bouncing around the league at. Justin Fields, all this athleticism, all this gift, but not putting it together. Now, you could say, oh, he needs this guy and that guy and quarterback coach. Maybe you're right. Maybe he needs a quarterback whisperer. But at this point, who's investing? Who's looking to recreate? Now, I get it. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, both guys that have gone and had success after the Jets. And maybe the trend continues with Aaron Rodgers. But to me, Justin Fields is on his last leg in the league as far as teams giving him a shot for all that potential upside. And I see it, again, falling flat on its face. Yeah. Dang. I think he did. Gee, what's going on? He did get a ring, though. Listen, Dolphinaire. Rodgers MVP, played great. Got that ring. And that's good. But let's not act like he's, Drew Brees. Drew Brees got a ring, but you saw how, what, and which, and all the ways in which he played the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're pretty similar in their successes in their career. But to me, I would bet on Drew Brees 10 times over Aaron Rodgers, even though I believe Aaron Rodgers is more talented. For all the reasons we're saying, the going gets tough and the tough get going. And Aaron Rodgers ain't leaving. He going to just throw you under the bus. And that's a character flaw in some ways. Now, maybe he does, I don't know all of everything, yada, 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 but fuck that motherfucker. Mondo. Yeah, that last game of the year, we laid that up. That was a favor to the Jets organization. They owe us one now. Yeah, Lou, he did. There was a lot of opportunities that he failed to execute with the Packers, but I also believe that those failures not just were shortcomings, but of his own making during those 4 and 5 extra opportunities that he got. And if you guys remember, here's Tom Brady, here's Aaron Rodgers. Everyone, there's the two best quarterbacks in the league at some point. MVP of the league, MVP of the Super Bowl was a constant off-season topic. Who's going to win? But Aaron Rodgers, in those 4 or 5 year opportunities, he could have went and chased some rings, decided to chase the bag instead, while Tom Brady, not throwing people under the bus, being accountable, being hardworking, and taking less money to remain more competitive, while Rodgers only did was bitch and get bigger bags. There's where they separate. Again, I think Rodgers is wildly more talented than Brady ever was at their primes, but Brady worked harder, and he didn't selfishly, create an internal sideshow and dissension in the ranks. And that we could say whatever you want. Maybe that has something more to do with Belichick and how he ran business, but we're only talking quarterbacks here. So that's how I feel about it. And I think you're going to see the next chapter of Aaron Rodgers' shit show in Pittsburgh, and it's going to cost Mike Tomlin his job, which is already kind of hanging on by a thread, as we've convinced. And hey, I'm here for it, baby. Because I'll tell you what, this Dolphins season slips away and Mike McDaniel does get booted up out the door. Come on home, Tomlin. Come home. Please. Please fix this. So that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. So that's pretty much all I got, man. I mean, I was coming here. I had all the topics, ran through them, trying to keep these shows no longer than 2 hours, trying to get this thing get in there and get it ready. I appreciate everybody coming through here. Make sure you guys have hit the like button. If you have not, then you're probably not going to now. That's not cool. What's up, True Blazer? What's going on, dog? I appreciate everyone coming through. Make sure, again, to share the video, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button, and keep an eye out. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Maybe we'll come around this time. I kind of like this time, getting in a little earlier, so I'm not up all night afterwards. So we'll see. Take it easy, everybody. See you next time. Fins up.